Andrew salutes you. I want to thank all our subscribers, new subscribers, and channel members for your support. We have launched a new store featuring fresh designs, including dresses, t-shirts, and more, all adorned with a bride and groom logo. If you'd like to visit the store, click the link Buy Me a Coffee, and you will see the store icon scrolling down on the left side. Additionally, if you'd like to buy a coffee for our dear brother Michael, you can do so as well. Your support helps us cover costs and enables us to continue creating content. I hope this video answers all your questions. If you're not a member yet, we encourage you to join us now. You can find the link in the description and on our homepage. We publish something special for you every month. With that being said, let's dive into today's topic. Today, I want to take a look at the adoption and the children of God. In the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 4, the Apostle Paul writes, "The people of Israel, theirs is the adoption as sons. Theirs the divine glory, the covenants, the giving of the law, the temple worship, and the promises." In this single verse, Paul opens a profound mystery. He reminds us that adoption is not merely a New Testament revelation. It is an ancient covenantal reality rooted in the very identity of Israel. Before any Gentile nation was grafted in, before the gospel reached the ends of the earth, the adoption belonged to Israel. Theirs was the filial bond, God as Father, Israel as his firstborn, Exodus 4:22. In the Peshitta, the ancient Aramaic version of the New Testament, the phrase carries an even deeper intimacy. The word used for adoption echoes the Aramaic benayutha, literally, the placing of sons, or to be established as children. It reflects not only a legal standing, but a spiritual birthright. To be placed as sons is to be positioned in divine order to stand within the household of God's covenant. This adoption, then, is not metaphorical. It is the sacred transfer of identity from creation to covenant, from being mere beings of dust to becoming vessels of divine purpose. The Shekinah, the indwelling presence, rests upon this chosen family, marking them as the children who bear her light. Ancient Hebrew traditions speak of this mystery through the imagery of God's dwelling among his sons, his presence abiding in the midst of Israel. The Targums describe how the Shekinah accompanied them through the wilderness as a mother guiding her children. In the tabernacle, she overshadowed the mercy seat, teaching that adoption is not a distant decree, it is the nearness of divine presence, embracing her household. So when Paul says, "Theirs is the adoption," he is not introducing something new. He is unveiling the eternal relationship between God and his people, a bond sealed by glory, covenant, and promise. Israel was chosen to be the mirror of the divine family, to reveal what it means to be adopted into the heart of God. And this forms the foundation of all future revelation, that the same spirit of adoption which rested upon Israel now seeks to dwell in all who receive the covenant of love. The spirit of adoption, from servants to sons. Paul's message continues in Galatians 4:5-7, where he writes, "To redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption as sons. And because you are sons, God has sent forth the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying, 'Abba, Father.' Therefore you are no longer a slave, but a son. And if a son, then an heir through God." Here the mystery deepens. The same adoption first revealed to Israel now expands to embrace all who receive the redemption of the Messiah. The law prepared the way, shaping hearts to recognize divine order, but grace fulfills it, granting the inner seal of sonship. In the Peshitta, the Aramaic text speaks this passage with profound tenderness, that he might give us the placing of sons, and because you are sons, God sent the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, who cries, "Abba, Abba." Notice the repetition, Abba, Abba. In Aramaic, this is not just the cry of a child, it is the cry of recognition. It is the soul remembering its source. When the Spirit enters, He awakens the memory of our divine origin, calling us back into the household of God. Paul contrasts two conditions, slavery and sonship. Under bondage, humanity labored under the shadow of separation, bound to the law of sin and death. However, through redemption, a transformation takes place. We are not merely forgiven, we are repositioned. The Spirit of the Son within us gives us access to the Father's heart. Ancient Jewish and early Christian writings echo this mystery. The Book of Jubilees refers to Israel as the children of the Most High, describing how angels rejoiced when the covenant family was revealed. Likewise, in early Christian thought, the spirit of adoption was seen as the returning glory of the Shekinah, now not dwelling above the ark, but within the temple of the human heart. This is the hidden renewal of the covenant, the Shekinah no longer overshadowing golden cherubim, but overshadowing her children. The Spirit of the Son and the Spirit of the Mother meet within us, heaven and earth reconciled in the sanctuary of the soul. Thus, adoption is not only a future promise, it is a present participation. We cry, Abba, Father, because his breath has entered us. We are no longer slaves to fear, but heirs of glory. This is the awakening of divine identity, the moment when humanity remembers that we were created not merely to serve, but to belong. Let's discuss the sons of God, the present reality and the hidden glory to come. Paul continues to unveil the mystery of divine kinship in Romans 8:14-17. For all who are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but the Spirit of adoption, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God, and if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. Here, the Spirit reveals a twofold mystery, identity and inheritance. The first is who we are, sons and daughters of God. The second is what awaits us, the inheritance of divine glory. Paul teaches that the Spirit within us does not merely testify about God, but testifies within us that we belong to him. The Peshitta, in its Aramaic clarity, says, For those who are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. You have not received again the spirit of bondage and fear, but the spirit of the adoption of sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. This wording emphasizes not fear, but belonging. The spirit of adoption is not distant. It is the intimate voice within, the whisper of divine recognition. We no longer tremble before the Father as servants. We draw near as his offspring. Then, the Apostle John expands this same revelation in 1 John 3:1-2. Behold, what manner of love the Father has given unto us, that we should be called the children of God, and such we are. The world does not know us, because it did not know him. Beloved, now we are children of God, and what we shall be has not yet been revealed, but we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. This is the divine tension, already children but not yet revealed in full glory. The process of adoption begins now within the soul and culminates when the veil is lifted. The sons and daughters of God, hidden within humanity, will be unveiled as the divine family fully restored. The ancient tradition refers to this unveiling as the manifestation of the sons of light. The Dead Sea Scrolls speak of the children of light, destined to inherit creation. Early Syriac writings describe the redeemed as the offspring of the Shekinah, radiant with the same glory that once dwelt between the cherubim. Thus the apostles saw salvation not as mere deliverance, but as transfiguration. Through suffering, through endurance, through love, the children of exile are clothed again in light. The Shekinah, the Mother Spirit, is restoring her likeness within the hearts of her children. The bridegroom and the bride reproduce their divine image through those led by the Spirit. Now, we see dimly through the glass of faith, but soon the mirror will clear. The adopted children will stand revealed as the heirs of the kingdom. When he appears, John says, we shall be like him, For the glory of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit will shine through every soul that has learned to cry, Abba, Father. The roots of adoption in Jewish tradition, sharing in the divine family. Long before Paul spoke of adoption by faith, the seed of that truth was already planted in the soil of Israel's tradition. The Hebrew Scriptures and rabbinic writings carry subtle glimpses of divine adoption, not as a legal act, but as a spiritual embrace, a sharing of family and purpose. In Leviticus Rabbah, the sages recount the story of Bitya, the daughter of Pharaoh, who rescued the infant Moses from the Nile. In recognizing his cry, she defied her father's decree and raised him as her own. For this act, the rabbis say, God called her his daughter. Her compassion became her adoption, not only of Moses, but of divine favor itself. Sepharia preserves this tradition. The Holy One, blessed be he, said to her, Moses was not your son, yet you called him your son. So too, you are not my daughter, yet I will call you my daughter. This rabbinic parable unveils a profound truth. To adopt is to imitate the heart of God. The one who calls another my child in love becomes part of the divine lineage of mercy. The Jewish Encyclopedia notes that ancient Israel did not practice formal Roman-style adoption. The Torah does not speak of contracts or ceremonies for making a child one's own. Yet the spirit of adoption lives throughout the law and prophets, in the care for the orphan, the widow, and the stranger. Those who nurture life that is not their own, who guard and teach, are called righteous before God. The sages said, whoever teaches the son of his neighbor the Torah, it is as though he has begotten him. Thus, in Jewish understanding, adoption is not about possession, it is about participation. It is the act of sharing in the creative, nurturing work of the Shekinah, the mother of all souls. Just as she brooded over creation in the beginning, so too she broods over every life brought into covenantal care. In this light, Israel's election itself can be seen as divine adoption. The people were taken out of bondage, raised by the divine mother and father through the wilderness, and called my firstborn son, Exodus 4:22. The Exodus was the adoption of a nation. The Shekinah dwelled among them as the divine presence in the tabernacle, a mother guiding her children through the desert, forming them into a holy family. Therefore, when the New Testament speaks of adoption in Christ, it is not inventing a new doctrine, but fulfilling an ancient pattern. The same Spirit that adopted Israel now extends the covenant to all nations, calling every heart that responds to the divine voice, my child. Even in exile, the Shekinah remains the adoptive mother of her people, raising the children of earth to share in the likeness of heaven. Through love, compassion, and divine teaching, humanity is brought back into the household of God. What the hidden testimony of the ancient texts says. Children of light and the divine adoption. While the Scriptures proclaim the mystery of adoption through the covenant and Spirit, the ancient writings preserved by the elders and mystics unveil deeper reflections on what it means to become a child of the divine. These voices, echoing from the early generations, speak of a hidden lineage, souls born from above, who descend into the world to bear witness to the light. In the book of Enoch, the righteous are described as children of light, destined to shine with the brilliance of the stars in the kingdom of their Father. Enoch beholds the Son of Man enthroned, surrounded by holy ones who were once among mortals, now glorified. He records the divine decree that these children will inherit the earth after the judgment, not depart from it. Their home is not a distant heaven, but a renewed world, where the holy presence once more dwells with humankind. The book of Jubilees likewise reveals that those who walk in covenant are written among the children of God, their names recorded in heavenly tablets. This lineage, it says, began not in flesh but in spirit, when Adam's descendants learned to call upon the name of the Lord. Each generation that bears the light of divine obedience becomes a continuation of this family, reborn not by blood, but by faithfulness and the indwelling Spirit. The Odes of Solomon, A collection of early hymns cherished by the first believers celebrates this adoption in song. One ode declares, "The Spirit of the Lord rested upon me, and I became a child of love. The Most High acknowledged me as his own." Here we glimpse the heart of divine sonship, not merely being called children, but awakened into the likeness of God through the Spirit that descends like a dove, resting upon those who receive her. Another ode proclaims, "He anointed me with his peace, and I became as one of those who are near him." This closeness, this union of soul and spirit fulfills the promise spoken by the prophets. "I will dwell among them, and they shall be my people." It is the return of the Shekinah, not in temple stones alone, but in living temples' hearts, made radiant by divine adoption. These ancient witnesses agree that the final transformation of creation will not erase humanity, but glorify it. The world itself becomes the dwelling place of God, and the adopted children shine with the same splendor that once filled the Holy of Holies. The Shekinah, exiled and yearning, gathers her children at last, the angels who sojourned in mortal form, the faithful who endured the shadow of exile, all united in the light of restoration. Through this divine adoption, heaven and earth are reconciled. The rapture of the soul is not an escape from the world, but the unveiling of divine life within it. The Shekinah, as mother and bride, breathes life into her children until the whole creation reflects the face of the beloved. As Paul wrote, "The creation waits in eager expectation for the revealing of the sons of God." Romans 8:19. That revelation is the destiny of all who are reborn in spirit, the children of adoption, the heirs of a renewed world, and the living testimony that the exile of the Shekinah is nearing its end. The earth will be transformed. Let's discuss the upcoming judgment and the renewal of the earth. Judgment, in its truest light, is not the wrath of destruction, but the fire of purification. It is the holy flame that separates truth from deceit, light from shadow, and restores creation to its original harmony. The prophets never spoke of judgment as the end of the world, but as its renewal, the dawn following a long night of exile. The psalmist declared, "He shall judge the world in righteousness and the peoples with his truth." Psalm 96:13. Righteous judgment is not vengeance. It is alignment, the world set in order under divine law. When Christ said, "Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out." John 12:31. He revealed that judgment began at Calvary, when the power of darkness was broken. But the fullness of that victory will unfold upon the earth when the Shekinah returns, for she carries the fire of sanctification and the mercy of renewal. The ancient texts echo this mystery. The book of Enoch describes how the Ancient of Days sat upon the throne of glory, and the books were opened, not merely to condemn, but to restore the balance of creation. The righteous shine like the luminaries of heaven, and the earth itself rejoices, freed from corruption. Similarly, in the Odes of Solomon, the voice of the redeemed proclaims, "The Lord renewed me in his light and made me a dwelling of his glory." This renewal begins within the soul and spreads outward until the very soil of the earth bears the fragrance of holiness. The prophets foresaw that the Shekinah's presence would transform judgment into healing. Malachi spoke of this day when the Sun of Righteousness shall arise with healing in her wings. Malachi 4:2. Her descent is not the fall of wrath, but the rise of mercy. The same divine light that once filled the tabernacle will now fill the entire creation. Ezekiel's vision of the glory returning from the east, Ezekiel 43:2, is both a literal and spiritual prophecy. The Shekinah entering once more through the gate of her dwelling, the temple of earth, sanctifying it with eternal light. This is why the apostles and prophets linked judgment to the renewal of all things. Peter declared, "The heavens must receive him until the time of the restoration of all things." Acts 3:21. The fire that purges is the same fire that refines. It is the Shekinah's radiance dissolving the last remnants of corruption. When the righteous stand in that day, they will not flee from the earth. They will inherit it. "Blessed are the meek," said the Messiah, "for they shall inherit the earth." Matthew 5:5. The judgment, then, is the unveiling of divine order, heaven's government manifesting on earth. The Shekinah will preside as the spirit of wisdom and truth, revealing the secrets of every heart and gathering her children, the sons and daughters of adoption, into their rightful inheritance. The angels, who are her companions, the children of the exile, will move among humanity, awakening those who belong to the bride company, separating the pure from the profane, not through force, but through the light of revelation. Even the earth itself will respond to this renewal. Isaiah foresaw it. Instead of the thorn shall come up the cypress, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. It shall be to the Lord for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. Isaiah 55:13. The curse of Eden will be lifted, the land healed by the presence of the Divine Mother. Her return signals not the destruction of creation, but its transfiguration into the temple of the Most High. And when the fire has done its work, what remains will be gold, the pure essence of God's kingdom on earth. The bridegroom and the bride will reign as one, and every nation will walk in their light. The sea of glass, once seen only in heaven, will shimmer upon the earth. The redeemed will sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, and the prayer of every generation will find its answer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. We have successfully concluded this study, and we sincerely appreciate your participation. If you found these teachings beneficial, please share them to help others in need. Your likes and comments mean a great deal to us, and they allow us to grow our community. A warm welcome to our new subscribers. You're now part of our family. Stay tuned for our next video. It's going to be truly captivating.